Hi, yeah, it's Xavier and welcome to my bonsai retreat. Do you want to know what I think my top 5 trees are? Whether it be dug up Yamadoris, nursery stock, air layers, or just stuff that started off as saplings? Well, you want to join my journey because today I'm going to count down my top 5 bonsai trees. But will you agree? So, before we start the countdown, you might be wondering why this is here. Well, it's because I was working on it, but it's a juniper, and this was number 6. It's an old garden centre juniper that has been through the wars and has certainly been in a number of videos. So make sure you've got something to eat, you've got a drink, and join me as I count down my top 5 bonsai trees. So, coming in at number 5, I'm proud to present to you my first ever, in fact, let's keep you on tenterhooks. There were some rules to this one, because there's always rules, just in case you want to try the same thing yourself. The first of them is I don't repeat my species. A lot of you will know that I've got a lot of what I probably say consider larch, and I've got some really decent larch, and if I was honest, my top 3 would all be larches. Second rule I've decided to apply to this is they have to be homegrown. So there isn't going to be any stock that's come from imports or started off as bonsai and have improved. It's all going to have been either dug up, cut, you know what I'm saying. And the third criteria, and you'll find out with a couple of them, is that they're either first of a technique or there's something particular about them that I see. It may even be that I know the tree is going to have such great potential in the future that though you may not see it, you may actually go, wow, that's an ugly tree, certainly shouldn't be in the top 5. So hopefully you'll understand if you look at one of the trees and go, huh? Anyway, without further ado, let's unblur this one and find out what comes in at number 5. This Japanese maple has been through the wars. Had a brilliant branch there, got broken off by a cricket ball I think, and it was the first of the plants that I actually got from cheap stock that was being sold off by our resident superstores. And I think I put it for a couple of pounds, planted up in a pot in 2014 maybe, and then just let it grow. Very one-sided root system, and in fact there's probably a little repot video that might be coming up. But it's in this lovely pond pot, which they're not that useful because inside there it's just full of algae and mould. I'm really starting to work now on ramifying the secondary structure, and I've got really high hopes for this.
Well, honey, just don't get your hopes too high.
So, yeah, coming at number 5 is this Japanese maple. Before we go to my number 4, I am going to show you this little Mame one. And again, you've seen it in repots in earlier videos. This was nearly number 5, to be fair. But it's part of a batch of 100 something sapling, 1-year-old saplings I bought in 2014 for the grand price of £8. Sometime back in about 2016, 2017 I started splitting them, and this one was one of the last to be split, but it's got some beautiful shape, and as a Mame it's probably better than the one you've just seen. I think you'll be seeing a lot more of these over the coming years, especially as many of these are going to go into pond baskets. But yeah, this is my 5A maybe. Anyway, I think we'll be heading to the drum roll and see what's at number 4. And it's this one. This is a common prunus or cherry. It's not pretty, although it does produce cherries, and I have actually eaten one of the cherries from this, and if you look at that video there, you'll see my reaction. There's my cherry. I'm now going to try my cherry. Well, it's not quite like eating jade leaves. There's bitterness there, but surprisingly the flesh is quite nice on it. Quite good. This is certainly not going to break any beauty prizes, and it's got a long way to go. Very, very long way to go. But this prunus was in my back garden back in 2014. It's the first time I ever did an air layer. And all I did, got a plant pot, put a hole in it, got a pile of very, very ordinary garden soil, and put an air layer on. And believe it or not, it took. It's certainly not going to be winning any prizes, But again, it's something I've done, and it's the first of. I tend to have picked stuff that are the first ofs as well, because they mean a lot to me. There's a lot more emotion attached to this. It was very trying times, but it's hanging in there, and I do believe this will make a very, very good bonsai in a few years' time. So that's number 4. Let's head on to number 3. It's this silver birch Yamadori. You know it, it's featured a lot in the Bonsai Retreat, and mainly because it had massive dieback at the end of 2022, and this is still subject to rebuild. But this is probably the first Yamadori that I dug up, and that was way back in 2015. And it's a survivor, and it has to be when it's in my garden. In fact, it's so well respected and liked, my children, bless them, leave their fag ends in them. More of that probably later. Silver birch Yamadori definitely comes in at number 3. It's got an absolutely incredible base on it, great big thick root flare, and it's not too far a distance going up. You know, as you work your way up the shaft. And you'll remember I did an episode where I dug out and filled this in. Original cavity went all the way down to about there, I think. Hollowed it all out and filled it with some putty, and that's done really, really well. Good few years to go, but you can see why this is definitely my number 3 tree. Well, those drums are definitely rolling now. For those of you who are still here, my number 2 top bonsai tree is this one, and this is my Chinese elm roots on rock. And what makes this so special and such a good representation of hobbyist bonsai is I didn't get any instruction, I just threw it together. In fact, you know me, most of my trees are just thrown together. The rock, I found that just going for a walk somewhere. It's not even from Orkneys actually. The pot is a lovely Dawn Isaac, but before that it spent many a year in a straightforward plastic training pot. The tree itself is a Chinese elm. It originally started as a cutting way back in 2014, and I think it went on the rock in 2015, 2016. And then I've just slowly clip and grow. It's never been wired. I'm sure Nigel will be smiling broadly about that. Lovely, lovely. I love the way the roots have gripped the rock. I didn't use any special techniques. All I did is ram the rock there, and it was buried all the way up to here. And each year I uncovered a little bit more and more and more, which traditionally is the way we've always done roots on rock. And I'm proud of it. Well, what a surprise. Who would have guessed that my number 1 best top bonsai for the Bonsai Retreat is this Japanese larch. Started off at the tender age of 2 in 2002. All the 2s in 2002. Yeah, started off as a sapling along with 20 of its brothers and sisters, and it's still with me. How's long? 22 years later. When I started this, I had no idea of how to do bonsai. Even now, I've probably got less idea. This survived footballs, cricket bats, cricket balls, a boxer, a border collie. I don't know if we had any rabbits then, and certainly 4 children. And all of those are contributing to making this my number 1 favourite bonsai. And it's in autumn colour. But I love it, and I hope you do too. So from Xavier, I hope you've enjoyed my my top 5 bonsai. Feel free, get down in the comments, let me know which one you think is your favourite, and better still, why don't you send me some pictures of your top bonsai. And remember, the rule is simple. It has to be one that you've produced yourself from either garden centre material, seedling, or whatever. So from Xavier, enjoying life in the Bonsai Retreat, I say thanks very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, big like, big thumbs up. If you want to see more, then obviously subscribe and hit bell notifications, because everyone else says that, and I like going ding ding. Oh, pick the film. Ding ding. And if it helps. Anyway, from Xavier, happy bonsai and God bless. Cheers.